Hey everybody, welcome back to Frozen Land Shark Garage. I got a new plasma cutter. Let's check it out. Hi Jake, what are you doing, bro? I recently had to give the Hobart plasma cutter that I've had for a couple years back to the guy that owned it, and so I did the right thing and bought the cheapest plasma cutter I could off of Amazon. We're going to put it together and put it to the paces. 135 bucks I think I paid for it. It's the Herocut Cut35I. I'm not expecting a lot from it. I don't use a plasma cutter a lot. Price was right. Got good reviews. We're going to put her together, test it a little bit, see what it does. It's a 110 35 amp plasma cutter. It's got an air regulator on it. You put air to it. That little Hobart that I was using, that had a built-in air compressor, which was kind of handy. You just plug that in and go with it. But I mostly do sheet metal, maybe 1/8 inch. Well, I know I don't go much more than 1/8 inch because I've been hunting around in the old Land Shark garage here trying to find a piece bigger than 1/8 inch to give this thing a test on, and I haven't been able to. So let's walk through putting this thing together and then we'll put it through the paces. All right, like I said, this is made by Herocut Cut35I. Not very big, so it's going to be kind of handy and portable. 10.5 inches by, hell, it's smaller than a car battery. Not heavy. Good reviews. First thing I noticed is we got to hook the air up to it. It's got a little pressure regulator, and came with this see-through Teflon tape that we probably won't use, but got a gauge on it. I use some Permatex thread sealer. Just, I hate listening to air leaks. It's got a brass nipple on this side, so there's a small piece of hose that goes from this regulator down to the machine right here. So that'll mount here. On-off switches back here. Little fan. 110. They make a Cut 50. The Cut 50 is a 50 amp. You can run it on 110 or 220. I only have one 220 drop in my garage, and it runs my air compressor, so I went with the 110 one. And like I said, if I cut really heavy steel, I usually use a not the plasma cutter. I use a grinder or cut-off wheel or something like that. So that guy just hooks into this bracket. I had to put the bracket on, and apparently you have to put the bracket on the right way, or this guy isn't going to hook in there. So stand by, we'll do that quick. Using the old Swedish nut lathe. It came with instructions there, right there in that book. I always tell Mrs. Landshark that instructions are just another person's opinion on how it should be done. But time and time again, I find out that it'd probably be easier just to sit down and read them sometimes. If you put this on the right way, this will probably fall right back together. The other plasma cutter, the Hobart, guy that put our windshield in, that's his plasma cutter, and he's working on a Jeep. He needed to cut a bunch of rust off, and I decided that for the price they wanted for this, can't go wrong, right? As long as it cuts, it should be okay. So now that I got that little tab locating that, oh, that fits so much better. So much better. So next thing, I'm going to cut a piece of hose from there to there with the provided hose. Not really even sure what they were talking about for pressure on this. I'll have to read the instructions on that. I don't want to blow it up. Came with these cool little hose clamps. Most hose clamps are 5/16 or a quarter. These are not. Came with 2 clamps. I mean 4 clamps. And I only really need 1 per each, but I'm gonna double clamp it since there's enough room on the nipple to do that. $60, I think, is what they were running these things at. I watched a lot of reviews on it. Alright, there we go. I might shorten that up a little bit later on. We'll see. It isn't going to hurt anything, but might tidy it up. They give you plenty of hose, that's for sure. I hope that doesn't mean it blows out a lot. Then I see, come with a few consumables. Nozzles and tips. I bought some too, because that's one of the things with the plasma cutter. You hate to run out of tips and then have to try and find them someplace. So I bought them at the same time I bought the plasma cutter. So in the front, there's the ground. Ground isn't too bad. Not super heavy duty, but got copper runs from both sides between your copper ends. All that part's done. Cable's probably 6 foot by the looks of it. So this is the cutter handle. It's got like a protective, so you don't gotta flip that up to get your finger underneath it to use it. Everything looks pretty good. Cable's shielded. This is the part that goes in, and then I don't know how that transmits. Shoots air. Isn't that how they work? I guess I've never really looked into how a plasma cutter works. It's basically just, it cuts. That's all we care about, is that it cuts. This says it will cut 10 millimeter. What's that in the world? 10 millimeters, 0.393. So, geez, like 3/8 of an inch it says. So shouldn't have no problem with a quarter. Like I said, it's a cute little devil. Got everything I need. Fairly simple to put together. All right, well, I've got some different thicknesses of steels. First thing I found once I went and hooked my air up to it, air fittings that come with cheap tools are junk. So I had to put a decent one on there because I already had an air leak, and it was because of the female coupler and the male coupler. It was just racing out of there, so they're junk, garbage. And then I looked at the instructions to see where my air needed to be set, which was between 40 and 70 depending on your thicknesses. But it says right in here how a plasma cutter works. You ready? Can you read that? I'll read it to you. Basic plasma cutters use electricity to superheat the air into plasma, the fourth state of matter. 4 states of matter, which is then blown through the metal to be cut. Plasma cutters require a compressed air supply and AC power to operate. So it takes it to plasma, the 4th state of matter, and that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. Anyway, let's crank this thing up and see what happens. Air, like I said, 40 to 70, 40 to 50, 60 to 70. I got it set at, I'm going to put her at a balmy 60 PSI. Right, buddy? Yeah. So the air's hooked up. Power. Oh, this is scary. I don't know, this thing might blow a circuit. I don't know. Power's hooked up. Switch is on. Maybe? No. I think I need to use a better power supply than that. How's that sound? Mrs. Landshark's been telling me to get rid of that overhead hose reel for a long time. Maybe I should. There we go. That's the flavor we're looking for. So it's got a setting from 10 to 35 current wise. I'm going to set it at 20. See what happens. So this is just floor metal that I've been making my floors with. And we'll put the old ground on. Look out, Jake. See what happens. I think this is a contact one. It is. So you have to make contact with the steel on this one. Let's see what happens. Oh, man. Kind of slaggy. I don't know if it's because I got it turned up so high. I mean, it's not that high, actually. I'll go back a little bit more and see. Wow. You cruise right along with that. Uh-oh. Oh, Mr. Landshark needs a pair of eyeball protection. Don't have any right now, so I'm going to use the old squint guard for a while. So when I had that set at 20, I'm just going to use a straight edge and see if we can just follow right along that. Wow. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed with this now. Hey, I wasn't really expecting it to be real good. So this piece is twice as thick as this floor piece that I got here. So I'm going to cut that on the same setting, that 20 setting. I'm going to see what happens there. Didn't quite go through. Okay, so I'm going to crank her up to 27.5, I guess is the setting there. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that works pretty slick. Alright, big time. This is a piece of 1/8 inch plate, which is probably the biggest thing I have in my garage that I can see. Alright. So get a straight edge to follow. All right. So it's a little, I don't know, it's a little slaggy, but I don't know, I think you should, maybe this should be standing off the metal a little bit more. Maybe I'll turn my air pressure up a little bit. It was an air pressure issue. One last test. I'm gonna, now that I got my air up, everything going, I'm just gonna try and take that out of there nice and clean like. See how that works. Yeah, nice. Love it. So there you have it. Herocut Cut35I 110 plasma cutter. Very simple to set up and operate. On-off switches back here. You saw I cut that 1/8 inch plate pretty handily. The little stuff cuts it really good. It's got like an overheat protect on it, which I never really hit that, so not too concerned with it. It's not super loud. Runs on as it cools off. I take it because I have shut it off now. Yep, they're quieted down. Small, compact. I don't know, 135 bucks. I spent more than that on reciprocating saws, so yep, I like it. I know I need to get some dark glasses for running it because I can feel it in my eyes right now. Give her the old thumbs up for the Herocut. Did not disappoint. On behalf of Mrs. Landshark and I, we want you to really enjoy your holidays. We appreciate you following our channel and subscribing, watching our stuff, telling us what you like. Never forget, drive your shit. Happy holidays. We'll see ya.